In these strange times, people are in need of extra comfort. That's why it's always a nice gesture to send nudes, so they know you're thinking of them. Nudes, not nudes. To be clear, I'm not advocating you send nudes to anyone. I'm talking about nudes, not nudes. I want there to be no confusion. Do not send nudes. Definitely send nudes. Send nudes early and often to everyone. Send nudes never. Maybe to yourself, but even then, sparingly, unless you're talking about nudes, in which case, send away. In the event that there's any confusion about this, let's take a step back. Always send nudes. Never nudes. The only thing you should never not send is nudes.
I love the part where it's censored the bowl of noodles. Oh my god. They actually have it blurred out on the bowl of mac and cheese there at the end. Oh my god. That was great.
So now we have Kraft. We actually have Kraft. There's an article that I'm going to be reading in a minute after we do the intros. That has to do with this commercial, but Pincalo actually told me, he goes, find that and open with that.
Yeah. That was really good. I heard a little bit about it in passing the other day, but oh man.
Yes, Duck Dog, a friggin' Kraft dinner commercial.
Hey boy, you got a problem with KD, eh?
Well, speaking of welcome to Canadian Wednesdays, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a new thing on the coffee stream. Every other Wednesday will be Canadian Wednesday with Functional. Hello,
Yes.
Functional.
Hey PP, hey everybody, and yeah, somehow I convinced her to do this, even though, excuse me, I'm crazy and Canadian.
Hey, I'm crazy and Canadian too, so it's fine.
Maybe that's how it works.
So how are you doing on this fall October day?
I don't think it's fall enough yet. Like, honestly, where I live, it's still very, very green.
Yeah.
And it's not cold. I like it cold.
It's very, very fall here.
But I do love it. It is the best time of year. Like, the crispness of the air, the light chill breeze going through. The North American Northeast is just gorgeous this time of year.
I like fall from like late September to the first week of November.
Why? Because the kids finally going back to school?
And that because of the crispness, like you said, it's still nice and sunny.
Yeah, but it's not
crisp. But it's 17 degrees here, yeah, but it was cold this morning. It was freezing. And the leaves are already changing colors and on the ground.
Yeah.
But oh, hello, welcome to the new person, Alexander, who showed up yesterday in my Beat the Blind Girl stream.
Oh god, that was a mess. Not on your part, on theirs. Oh my god.
Jesus.
That girl is just something special. Indeed.
Oh no, not that one. Beat the Blind Girl for Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Oh, right. I thought you were talking about Molly and oh my god.
Oh, I tried so hard not to get ragey. I really did.
Yeah.
I tried and I failed.
Sometimes it just hits home, you know?
But when I hear that, you know, I know what it's like to live on disability because I worked and lived on disability. It's like
There's a clear difference, dumbass.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got some Canadian news, but we've also got that Kraft story that ties into the commercial that we just saw. Apparently they didn't think it through very well. Or they did.
Really? I thought it was excellent.
Because apparently they've received some backlash.
Of course they did. Let me guess, it's all the Puritans and the Karens in the world.
Yeah, because people have no sense of humor.
Yeah, it's looking that way, and enough people, and with social media being what it is, it's given every nut job a megaphone in which to amplify their voice.
I've always said that because people say, why is everyone so crazy nowadays? And it's like we're not crazy nowadays.
We've
It's
always
just
been this
we
crazy.
just have the internet is the equivalent of that guy on the soapbox.
Yep, totally.
It's just that everybody gets one now.
You ever see? Oh God, look who I'm talking to. You ever seen? But has anybody out there ever seen the? I think it was a Animaniacs cartoon where, like, I think it was Yakko sets up like a line of bullhorns, so that the first one will amplify the next one. That's what the internet is like these days.
Yeah.
So you get this insane person. One insane person will complain about something. The world hears about it. And then the company hears about it.
Yeah.
And then they take down their product or their ad or whatever because
Yep.
one person. It's ridiculous.
Oh, thank you, Duck Dog, for sharing the blindpress.net link in chat.
Get that merch. Simpsons episode. Thank you, Pinky. Right, it was Bart. It wasn't Yakko. Come on, how different is Bart and Yakko? Come on. Well, Yakko's a little bit smarter, but you know what I mean. It all, dude. When you get to be my age, Sonny, it all just blends together. Sorry, I was trying to do my best Skip impression. Love you, Skipper.
So we have Kraft Macaroni and Cheese responds to its criticism to its nudes campaign, vows to remove its social media posts. The campaign's play on words was not received well by all consumers. I think it was funny. I think it was cheesy, but I think it was
I think it was genius. As somebody who's been in the advertising industry and who, like, that's what I went to school for, college.
Yeah.
That was genius. That is so genius.
Yeah.
People have, like you said, people who have any kind of problem with it just don't have any sense of humor.
Yeah. So it says, Kraft Heinz CEO Miguel Patricio on supplying Americans with comfort foods such as macaroni and cheese during COVID times. Keep your nudes to yourself. Kraft Heinz has said it will be removing all traces of a recent marketing campaign that encouraged fans to send nudes, that is noodles, to distant family members.
Man, they're scrubbing this harder than Hunter Biden.
They really are. Like, I had to find that commercial on somebody else's channel. Like, it wasn't on... Like, you know how you can usually search it and it's just like an ad?
Sure, yeah. The companies have their own channels. They put out ads, or the ad firms themselves will put out the ads, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't there. It was on, like, some random channel.
Right.
Already. So, after it sparked backlash from social media users, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese initially launched the campaign on October 6th, National Noodle Day.
There's a National Noodle Day?
I
don't know about well, you don't have one, but I don't know about your man Bacalo, but for me, every day is International Noodle Day. You know what I'm saying?
So it says, as a way to for customers to spark or to offer love and comfort from a safe distance by filling out a form from a Kraft website, or to arrange for a free delivery of Kraft macaroni and cheese for friends and family. Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's cool.
Cool. Yeah.
The campaign's social media posts were accompanied by images of pixelated noodles to further illustrate the send nudes pun. So some Karen got pissed off and bitched, and I bet you it was some like grandmother aged Karen too. Got pissed off.
No, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you there because I think it's probably some 20-something feminazi, modern day feminists rather than because you know what? Old people today they seem to have a better grasp of comedy. Because they've gone through harder times, and we have it easier than anybody like in history. And people are just so spoiled. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
No, I think you might have it right. Actually, it may well be one of those, pissed off feminists.
One of those youngins.
Yeah.
And there, I'm changing my icon to the send nudes bowl.
I love it.
It's so great. Oh my god.
So it goes on to say, we're all seeking the comforts of home and traditions that bring us together, like sharing a box of Kraft mac and cheese, said Martina Davis, the brand manager for Kraft mac and cheese, in a press release issued at the time. We want to give fans the opportunity to share the cheesiest nerds with their family.
Cheesiest nudes, yeah.
Or nudes, yeah. So it's yeah, it was a free delivery of mac, so it was nice. Like,
yeah, I mean, with all the things that are going on, like, hey, you might not be within, delivery distance of a family member or a friend, but you know that they might be struggling because, of what's been going on. Any number of things could have happened to them.
yeah.
And for them to offer that quick little, that's good. That's a good thing that companies do. And Kraft has always been, they're a massive company, but I've actually worked for them in their advertising department back in the 90s. But they've always been a good, grounded company.
Yeah.
And this just solidifies that for me, because that's just a good thing that they're doing. It's not like they're going, and donating hundreds of millions of dollars, like nothing huge, but they're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's a good little push.
Yeah, it's a good way of giving back to their community, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they do that a lot here in Canada, especially with the hockey teams they support, and the kids programs. They do a lot. Kraft
is really, they're part of the participation thing, aren't they?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. And they've been on board with this kind of stuff ever since I was a little kid. Yeah, for decades now.
Yeah,
they've always given back to their community. They've always been proudly Canadian and proudly supporting Canadian culture, and they're really great. I'm not a huge fan of mac and cheese because I'm allergic to dairy. But you know what? With this campaign and this news story, I kind of want to go out and buy a box of mac and cheese now and eat it.
It's
fake cheese, but
and this is why I add some extra real cheese to it whenever I make macaroni and cheese.
Just to kick it up a notch, yeah.
Because like, especially if you don't have butter on hand to thicken it up.
Right.
If you add a splash of milk and then the fake powder cheese, and then you throw in some shredded real cheese.
Let that melt in there.
Let it melt in. It's really good, and it thickens it up, and it tastes like actual cheese. My my kids freaking love that stuff.
Okay, you've got some little ones, and they're boys.
Yep.
Do they eat it with ketchup?
No, that's the one thing that they don't put with
Okay.
ketchup. They like eggs with ketchup though. There's scrambled
not so
eggs
bad.
with ketchup, or sometimes they'll have ketchup with their grilled cheese,
But not their mac and cheese.
but
Okay.
not their mac and cheese.
Just curious, because it seems like something that a lot of people have done and a lot of people love. I've never.
It's a very Canadian thing, I've found out.
Well, I mean,
To
yeah,
put
we have ketchup
ketchup
chips.
on because I was talking to some other American friends of mine, and I was making breakfast for one of the boys, and I'm like, "Hey, your eggs are ready. Do you want ketchup on them?" And all the Americans were like, "What? Ketchup on eggs? What are you doing?" And I'm like,
Well, it's not that far removed, BP. Like, eggs and tomato have been a classic pairing
"Yeah,
forever, as long as I can remember. Look at full English breakfast.
mm-hmm,
Eggs, you get your proteins, your meats, and fried tomato. Pan-fried tomato, yeah.
yeah." Double the butter is what I do. No milk, says Duck Dog. Yeah, well, butter
Yeah, that
here
gets it nice and thick.
is stupid expensive. So we haven't bought butter in at least a couple of months because it's
Yeah.
like
Stupid expensive,
like
and yet
a stick
we
of
subsidize
butter
it.
is like $7.
Yeah, and we subsidize the fuck out of the dairy industry up here.
Yeah, we do. We really do. Like, and cheese can sometimes be stupidly expensive.
Yeah. And this, we're talking, guys, we're talking before COVID. Like,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, we send the dairy industry as a whole millions of dollars each year from the federal government of our tax money.
Yeah.
And prices are supposed to be accessible, and they're really not. Especially for, lower income families, kids, it's very important to get that calcium in them. So
Yep.
they and it's really expensive. All things considered.
It is. It's if you translate a bag of milk, like a 4 liter bag of milk, from like $4.20 Canadian. Right. That's, like Americans must pay less for a lot less for their milk.
Well, food in general, like across the board, is ridiculously, like, every time I've gone down there, I've been amazed at how cheap food is compared to here. And we're not just talking restaurants. We're talking, like going to the store and getting, like you said, well, there they have cartons. The savages don't have bags.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I had to explain to my American friends, because I'm like, oh shit, I gotta put another bag of milk in the jug, and they're like, what? Another bag of milk? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and sometimes they don't fully understand, and you show them a picture of like the holder for the bag, and they're like, "Oh, okay." It's like, yeah, it's just less waste. It's a tiny plastic recyclable bag that you can toss in the recycling as opposed to a carton. I mean, and some of those cartons are just not recyclable because they're treated with a waxy film on the inside.
Yep, they are.
Has been Colin going crazy?
He's trying to get
Start the bot.
Streamlabs to cooperate with it. It was working yesterday,
Oh, is it not working?
but it's very sporadic.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There's the Streamlabs spot. Yay!
super cool. Yeah. Yeah, remember, guys, blindpress.net for all of your blind pressy stuff and your pink hollow pictures. If you wish to have some wall art in your home.
Yeah, you're right too, Duck Dog. There's also
the
that foil liner. I forgot about that. Yeah. So I mean, overall, it just makes it a lot harder to recycle. And of course, as we know, most corporations, they want to do things as cheaply and easily as possible. So a lot of places I know here where I live, they will not recycle Tetra Paks.
Yeah.
It's just too too much for them to do. Like, ugh.
So, before we get into the next story, how much? Oh, I know you guys. You've probably been keeping up with the politics here.
Yeah.
What do you think of Mr. O'Toole?
To be honest, I haven't read up too much on him. He seems like a very milquetoast conservative. Um, you probably know, most people probably know, because I say it loud and proud. I'm a liberal. I'm a center-left liberal. I'm a
Right.
Lockean liberal, traditional English liberal.
Yeah.
The founding of what, countries like the United States and Canada. Those are the kind of principles I believe in.
Yeah.
So I look at our Canadian politics. These people are even closer to the different side of the same coin than American politicians
Oh
are.
God.
And it's scary because we really don't have a choice.
No.
Like, I can't remember the last time I voted for a candidate, whether it be a local or national election, that I actually supported rather than just didn't want the other person who is infinitely more bad. And I don't like that. I don't like the notion of voting against someone. I'd rather vote for someone.
Wow.
So I don't know too much about O'Toole. I do hope that with the potential upcoming election, we get to hear more about platform issues
Yeah.
and things he wants to change. Because I did not like the previous leadership.
Oh, Scheer? Yeah.
Scheer stemming all the way back to Harper. I really did not like Harper. I had a lot of things to say about Harper. But you know what? Given today's age, I'd much rather have Harper than Trudeau. Trudeau is so bad for Canada.
I like that O'Toole goes after Trudeau, the policymaker, not Trudeau, the person.
Mm-hmm.
Because Canadians don't like when politicians do that. Generally, we don't like that. We want politicians that care about policy.
Yeah, and policy that works for the Canadian people, not just for business or not for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. When we get politicians that go after policy, I think it makes us a bit more likely to pay attention to what they have to say.
Yeah, you're totally right on that.
So we've got this story. Trudeau's pissed off at the Tories because they won't let the We charity go. So it says PM blasts Tories for keeping We probe alive. Says government is focused on COVID-19.
Right, because government fucking corruption is something we can look past because there's a pandemic out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So this says Ottawa. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has blasted opposition parties for continuing their effort to dig into the We charity issue, and it says that his government is instead determined to help the Canadian public through the COVID-19 pandemic. The We charity issue. Is that what you're calling it?
I call it fucking government corruption to the nth degree. I mean, he was funneling funds through his wife's charity to pay his family members.
Yeah.
There's clear violations. They're clear cut. You couldn't be any more clear cut. And they are working overtime to do damage control for this.
So, Pinkala, what did O'Toole... I missed what O'Toole said the other day that made you upset. What did he say? Pinkalo's saying O'Toole has lost me. And I'm just trying to figure out what that is. Hey, Zach! Zach Lon B, what's up, dude? Haven't had you in chat in a while. Trudeau hates being held accountable, says Costin. He really
You're not
does.
wrong, Costin.
He really does.
And he also says, voting against Harper is how we got Trudeau. I agree. But at the same time, we didn't have a strong opposition.
No, we didn't.
Which is the current failing of the Conservatives. Like, the Conservatives are kind of going through the same problems that the Democrats are going through, in that they don't have strong platform, they don't have strong candidates.
Except, well, if you look in hindsight, if you compare Jagmeet Singh to Jack Layton, we should have voted in Jack Layton.
Oh yeah, I was a huge Layton fan, because yes, he was a little bit more socially inclined.
Yeah.
But he was still a liberal at heart.
Yeah.
And, he had the same sort of notions that I personally hold, that, a wealthy society could and should sort of take care a little bit more of its people.
Yes.
When you are prosperous. If things are tight, like right now with COVID and things shutting down and all that nonsense aside, things are tight for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the economy is not doing so good. As somebody who does a lot of business with the UK and the US, our dollar is kind of dipped in the last couple of weeks. And that's a problem. So as such, maybe we should hold back a little bit on some of the social spending, the unnecessary social spending.
Yeah. But, Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh are like, no, national pharmacare for everybody.
Money printer goes brrrr.
Yeah. Pretty much. Oh my god. Zach says, I've been dead for a while. Well, I'm glad you're alive again.
Hopefully you didn't get the coof.
So the comments follow conservative calls for a new anti-corruption committee in the House of Commons to take over several parliamentary probes. So they want to take over several parliamentary probes into several multi-million-dollar just the We Charity stuff. The New Democrats have also proposed a special committee that would dive into the government's various responses to COVID-19, including the now defunct Student Services Grant.
Oh, I didn't hear about the Student Services
Yeah,
Grant
there was
being
apparently
defunct.
some student grant that was supposed to happen, but never did, I guess.
Yeah.
And it took, like, the disability tax, that $600 that we're getting on the 30th if you hold a disability tax credit certificate. That was supposed to be here in July.
Oh. I didn't even hear about that. The additional disability benefit.
Yeah, if you hold a disability tax credit certificate, you will be getting a one-time tax-free payment, and it should be coming in on October 30th.
That's good to know. I'm going to have to look into it, because I don't know how many people out there, like, this is, Sundays is blind in the special, today is blind in the cripple, because I have leg issues, let's put it simply. Like, I have trouble walking. I was in a car accident, and so I'm on disability as well, but I try to do other things as well. But that's good to know, because they don't disability services in Canada, they're not very open and free with this information. You have to do a lot of digging, a lot of research, a lot of the time. And for someone like you or I, who are well versed in the internet and very up to date on technology, not a big problem.
Yeah.
But I can see for older people, especially those with disabilities, with more of the severe disabilities, might have a hard time getting that information or even hearing about this stuff.
Yep.
And it's really a shame, because that's one of the social safety nets that I believe very, very strongly in. Not because I'm a recipient, I've always had that belief, but again, going back to that social safety net of, hey, let's take care of the lowest rungs so that the entirety of society is elevated, even just a little bit. So
Yeah.
we don't have people, dying in the streets and suffering in silence.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
it's good to hear that this stuff is going to be coming out. It's still a little bit frustrating that they're so tight-lipped about these things.
Yeah. And the only reason I knew was because I saw a tweet from the Minister of Disabilities or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
called Carly Quattrell,
Yeah.
that said that the bill was passed and that it's a $600 payment. But it was like that they'd been arguing over that bill for 3 months.
Wow.
It was like it was
Good that
it
they
was
finally passed it, though.
yeah.
I wonder if because a lot of the reason why these kinds of bills take so long is because one party or both parties will try to sneak in a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff there,
Yeah.
and then the opposition is just like, well, no, what does the Green New Deal have to do with COVID relief? What does the Dairy Board of Canada have to do with COVID relief? These kinds of things. No, COVID relief, whether it's American, Canadian, British, it doesn't matter. It's about the people. It's not about policy. It's not about partisan politicking. It's about the people, just to ensure that people aren't going to die because
Agreed.
of, I will outright say it, it's government overreach. We overreacted to COVID. That's not to say that COVID isn't a thing. It doesn't exist, or we shouldn't be careful. But the overreach is clear and present all around the world.
Oh, definitely. This whole like my kid has to wear a mask all day at school. My oldest kid. The 3-year-old doesn't, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully, because he's too young.
Yeah. But the 6-year-old has to wear a mask all day at school.
It's such a shame.
I'm hoping this is not going to be the new thing. Like, I
Me too.
really am. I'm hoping that this is just for this year. Because
I hope so.
If we are, like, I really don't want to become a culture where we are walking around wearing masks because of one virus that's not, like, I'm not saying it hasn't killed anybody. But to say that we need to just be a masked society because of
To live in
one
fear, yeah.
virus that doesn't have the death rate percentages is not what I want for my kids.
Oh, definitely not. You don't want to know that your kids are going to be growing up and becoming adults in a society that's crippled by fear.
Like, I had to explain to my oldest that when we had a head cold in September, that it was a virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he thought it was the virus and he was getting all scared. And it's like, no, buddy, you just have a cold, it's fine, you're gonna be okay. And it's like, fuck, you shouldn't be freaked out when you have a cold when you're 6 years old. Like,
yeah, because people seem to forget. Yeah, people still get colds. They'll still get the flu. Like, I'm a smoker. I have diminished lung capacity. So a lot of the time, even before the coof happened, I cough. I have allergies. I'm a little, you can probably hear it now. I'm a little nasally because, the pollen. Sorry, it escaped
I
me
have
for a
the
second
same
there.
problem.
Yeah, and the looks that people give you in public when you're like, or
Yeah.
they're just like, oh my god. And like you said, I don't want to live in a society where our kids are growing up fearing somebody just coughing.
Yeah.
That's not to say if you see somebody, on the bus who looks, pale and they're like you should be a little bit cautious and maybe move to the other side of the bus.
Yeah.
But if somebody just has a little, And it must be so hard for them because they are so young
Yeah.
that they can't fully understand everything. But they seem like good kids because they'll listen to you and Pancalo and be like, okay, you know, mommy and daddy say this is how we have to act right now, so we'll do it.
They're for the most part they're good kids, and when they're bad,
Yeah.
they're not even really like there are kids out there that are
Monsters.
exponentially worse. It's just, um, it's just, ugh.
Yeah, they're boys. At the end of the
they're
day,
boys,
boys are
yeah.
just mischievous. We, you know, I remember what I was like when I was that age. I pushed the boundaries all the time because that's what boys do.
Well, my mom wanted to ask us if we could take her piano for a bit, so she wouldn't have to put it in storage.
Oh,
'Cause
I thought
she's
it was so she
moving.
wouldn't give it the coof.
But one of the reasons we couldn't take it was the 3-year-old will climb the damn thing
Oh God, no.
and jump off it. And so we had to be like, no, we can't take the. I would have loved to take the piano. I grew up with that piano.
Nice. Can you play?
Yeah, I
Okay.
played for like 9 or 10 years. I took lessons.
Oh, nice. I did not know that about you. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had some, you know, lessons in high school, but I never really had an ear for playing music.
I'm one of those. My mom hated it. She'd be at work and I'd be at home and I'd listen to a song on the radio and start trying to figure it out on the piano. And she'd
Start
come
muddling.
home
Nice.
and I'd be like, "Hey mom, look what I figured out." She'd be like, "I hate you for."
And check, you know, you're right. I am a total misogynist pig. Boys will be boys. I should check my privilege.
Kids are kids, they don't know better. Yeah.
Well,
So this says both parties' calls come as opposition parties have indicated their plan to resurrect their earlier pros of the Commons and Finance Committees, among others, when Trudeau prorogued Parliament in August, because he's a bitch.
Oh yeah, like I said, he's running damage control in overtime, and you know you cannot have a ethics and finance investigation just stopped because you don't like it because it's politically inconvenient for you. Sorry,
And it's
Trudeau,
your
that's not how the
third
law
one.
works. Third one, like people are already forgetting about
Third one in 4
And,
years. Like, holy shit.
Lavalin, and oh my god, he's so bad.
Oh. The
I mean,
Prime
like-
Minister sidestepped questions
Blackface.
on Tuesday about whether he would support having one special committee carry on the investigation into suggesting that the issue is closed and that the government is focused on COVID-19. No, it's
So
not
what they're
closed for the
saying is
government.
they're so stupid and incompetent they can only handle one thing at a time.
Yeah,
Great, vote him out. Get him out of here.
no confidence.
Exactly. Yeah, vote of no confidence. It should be. It honestly will be happening soon. We will be having an election soon. I think that OToole just needs to lay some groundwork first.
I really wish that the constituency could write to their MPs and be like, we wish for you to call a vote of no confidence in the House of Commons. Like,
yeah.
could you imagine if constituents started writing to their members of parliament?
Yeah, I mean, like this is why I'm such a proponent of a electoral college system here in Canada for the Senate.
Yeah.
It should be equal representation from each province.
Yeah.
In the Senate, in the House, sure, have it proportionate to the population because that's what their mandate is, to deal with the population. With matters of national importance, it should be each province has an equal say.
Absolutely.
And that would help with things like three 3 scandals already. And if we had that representation, it would have happened like 6 months ago, because nobody outside of Southern Ontario and Southern Quebec really like the Liberal government. But they have such a stranglehold because they're massive population centers compared to the rest of the country.
And it's the massive population centers that will vote for him, because the people in rural Southern Ontario and Quebec hate him.
Oh yeah.
If
you look at the last map,
Yeah.
even half of Toronto was kind of getting reddish. It's not reddish, sorry, blue. I always forget that our colors are opposite the Americans. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Costin's right. Yeah, the parties do have way too much power.
Pincalo said this morning, well, I had to explain to have the 6-year-old tell me what would happen if he fell on his head. He did.
Oh man,
he did
your
indeed.
Kids, you guys' kids sound so adorable.
They are pretty adorable. You should hear sometimes if Pincalo's got his mic on while he's gaming on Twitch. You can hear the 6-year-old especially on the Call of Duty. Dad, there's a helicopter! Get the helicopter! Dad, the gas is coming!
Yeah, I've been watching him play. Like I could never get into the Call of Duty games, but Pincalo's pretty good. I sit there in awe, and I'm just like, dude, you're taking them to task.
I would really like to learn how to play Call of Duty, like, just for fun. Just to see if I could hear where everything was.
Yeah.
I have a friend who plays Black Ops Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's not an open map the way that the one Pincalo plays is. I think it's like a hallway
More of an arena
type deal.
Shooter. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit more closed in. Learning to play Call of Duty is playing Warzone is not to win, it is to stop the other guys from winning. Yep.
Yeah.
I see the urban-rural divide in my writing, says Costin. I bet you do.
Yeah. And
you're
as
in a
somebody who
smaller
lives
town.
as somebody who lives in, SJW Central, it's really hard to have those kinds of conversations with people I once considered friends.
Yep.
There's a lot of closet conservatives who don't really want to talk openly about that kind of stuff. But the Liberals or the NDP supporters all have a rational conversation, or try to at least, and say, okay, yes, but Jagmeet did this, or Trudeau did this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, I don't really believe that. Well, why? I can show you a plethora of evidence. I can show you a plethora of evidence why teachers are asking for too much. And they'll be, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm interpreting, but that's basically what they say. And it's like, well, then, you shouldn't really be talking about politics if you can't have an honest discussion about it.
Yeah.
Because on most things, that person and I, like I said, I'm a center-left traditional liberal. We'd agree on most things.
Yeah.
But this regressivism, this hyper-progressivism, which I just call regressivism, it gets in the way of everything, and it's infiltrated every country, every level of discussion, and it's infuriating.
Costin says Stratford is the socialist part of a rural riding. Yep.
I believe that, yeah.
Because it's all artsy.
Yeah. They tend to be a little bit more progressive. Which I don't necessarily have a problem with progressivism.
No.
We can always strive to do better. But this is what we see now in the modern age is not progressivism. They want to go backwards. They want to go to times when there's racial segregation, identifying people by immutable characteristics rather than who they are, the content of their character, which even by quoting that line from MLK got me a 30-day ban on Facebook. Because apparently I was harassing somebody by quoting MLK. Okay, bud.
Pinkala says, you actually get a rational conversation from liberals. I get the, you're a Trump supporter and we're Canadian.
Yeah.
He does.
So do
too.
I, but I fully admit, like, yeah, I am a Trump supporter, so what? He hasn't treated Canada very well, but you know what? That's not really his problem. When he wants to come to the table with Trudeau and rehash and modernize some of our trade agreements, and Trudeau goes, well, I'm not even going to talk to you. How is that the decorum of a national leader?
He hasn't treated Canada very well. However, Trudeau gets together in a little clique with fucking Angela Merkel and Macron at the UN and giggles at him as he
kind of
walks
makes you
by.
believe in that new world order that you always hear about from people like Alex Jones. It's almost like these people are in cahoots. And somebody like Trump, who's a complete outsider to the system, he's definitely thrown that monkey wrench in, and I couldn't be happier. I just got my absentee ballot because I was born American. And I voted. You know what? I'll tell everyone right now. I voted for Trump because I think he's the best thing for America, but also a good thing for us.
I think that a lot of people are going to vote for Trump. They're just not saying it.
Yeah.
Because it's not safe.
The public shame, it's not safe. People will dox you. They will attack you.
Yeah.
Either physically or economically. And the principles that we've been formed on do not allow that. That is against both the Constitution and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Absolutely.
Religious or political persecution.
Absolutely. And I think that the best situation for us both, the both countries, would be for Trump to be in the States and OToole to be in up here.
I definitely think that the Conservatives are willing to come to the table with the Americans.
Yeah.
Because they have traditionally. Now, historically, there's been a little bit of funny dealings, like maybe doing a little bit too much to line their own pockets, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just to put it plainly. But they at least come to the table. That's better than not coming to the table with our biggest fucking ally.
Yeah.
Yet we have Trudeau, who just wants to kowtow and bend over for China at any given point. Like they're still trying to get that Huawei exec extradited to the United States, and of course, Trudeau and the Liberals are trying to stop that. It's like, no, this woman is a criminal.
She totally is.
She needs to face the music. She needs to be presented in a court of law. And you know what? The law will decide whether or not she's guilty or not, because we're nobodies. That we don't control the law. But from what we can see, we can have an opinion, and I think she should stand trial.
I agree.
Excuse me.
So this article talks also about documents that talks about the weed charity, but the Liberals have blacked a lot of the stuff in the documents out, which is what Pierre Poiliev actually did a video on his YouTube channel. That man is fucking amazing. Have you heard any speeches from Pierre Poiliev?
No.
No? Oh man. I am what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if I can find us a Poiliev speech.
Okay.
Or a
because
Poiliev video.
Like I've said to Jen in the Genty Maxi in the past, like, we have a distinct lack of Canadian content in YouTube.
Oh, he's a politician. Like, he's the member for Carleton.
Oh,
but
is he?
He's got his own YouTube channel, and he posts his questions that he asks in Parliament, he posts those videos up.
Good. Because not a lot of people watch. What's our version of C-SPAN?
Crap.
I always forget the name.
I can't.
But you know what I
remember.
mean, where it's open information. There's somebody in chat will remind us.
CPAC?
That isn't CPAC.
I can't remember what it's called.
But yeah, it's
Pierre
all open.
Poiliev. There it is.
It's all open source. You watch the proceedings in Parliament, etc. It's very dull. It's very boring. So excuse me. Got the coof, I guess.
37,000 subscribers he has.
Cool.
Oh, here's one. Pierre Poiliev has a video that's a minute long. It says, Parliament needs a full-time anti-corruption committee.
Amen.
So let me get
Because
this.
something like that can work independent of the parties.
Let me get this up.
How can
here
that be a
and-
bad thing? It'll work both ways. Doesn't matter if they're liberal, conservative, NDP, Green. If there's corruption, they can at least be an independent body to identify and perhaps present it to the courts.
Yeah. Oops, why did I turn off voiceover? That's not helpful. For some reason, for like the past day, I've decided in my brain that I've been using a PC. And I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, because on PC, when you refresh your browser, you can Alt F5. For some reason, I keep doing that, but that's the command to turn off voiceover.
On the Mac, yeah.
On the Mac. I'm like, dude, you haven't had a PC for 3 years. What the fuck are you doing? Pay attention. Okay. So we have this minute-long video. This man is freaking glorious. So he is also the chair of the commission that's been investigating the We charity thing. So let's see here. Pop this open. All right.
It would be a special committee. Parliament has two types of committees, a permanent committee and a special committee.
Oh,
Permanent
this
committees,
guy.
Yeah.
the name would suggest, continue to meet no matter what. Special committees have a specific purpose and a time-limited period. So previous examples have been the Accountability Act Committee, of which I was a part in 06,
Yeah.
when we created a special committee to pass anti-corruption legislation after the sponsorship scandal. Second example would be the Canada
And I like
China
his
Committee,
tie.
which our leader initiated.
I like his voice.
These kinds of committees allow parliamentarians to zero in on
He's a very
narrow,
clean-cut,
narrow
like
and important
Clark
subject,
Kent kind of
while
looking
allowing all the
motherfucker.
other permanent committees to continue
He's
to
savage,
do their work. The Liberals claim
Well
that
spoken, yeah.
the We scandal could distract Parliament from the pandemic response. This is an example. This is a perfect solution to that. We propose that the Finance Committee do finance work, that the Ethics Committee continue its review of privacy legislation, that all the other committees do the policy work that they are set up to do, while a new and temporary committee that is devoted to fighting corruption be established to get to the truth in the We scandal.
Anticipate that this committee would only
That's
look
funny,
at
I
the
just
We
start
scandal, or do
typing
you
in
see it would
Pierre
have a
and it
role beyond
automatically
the We scandal, and
brought it up
potentially
in
what kind of
YouTube.
other issues
Yep.
could
The
it
next
look
one is
into
Pierre
if we do
Poiliev
have
versus
a
Trudeau.
review of it?
You're
Oh
gonna have to
God.
sub to him.
Yeah. You know what? I want to see that one. We're gonna go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, because and sure enough, the second video I see in my feed is the one thing I did see, and that's why I recognize the face and the voice now, is he was talking about the bankruptcy cliff
Yeah.
and the government's hyper spending in COVID times, and we have to not drown ourselves in additional debt, because we've already, before COVID, were getting close to the line and spending too much. We needed to pull back the reins a little bit. Like I was saying earlier, not to, do away with all the social safety nets, but maybe just hold the reins a little bit tighter, just to sort of get Canada back on track. Because before COVID, our dollar was going up and up and up. And because of the responses we've had to COVID, our dollar tanked. And that's tanking on the global market, in which, everybody else's dollar was dropping too. So what happened that caused ours to dip even further?
Yeah. Where the hell is... Maybe I should just search for Poiliev versus Trudeau.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. I will search for... was that what the title was? Pierre
It was Pierre Poiliev versus Trudeau. Should be the first video, because that's the one where he really just rips into him and gives you the most clear and concise reasons why he is such a bad person.
Yeah. Pierre is... He is our Trey Gowdy, as Pincalo says.
Yeah.
Just jump in that deep end. I believe in you, Canada.
Thanks, Zach. See, because most Canadians, we love America. We love our American cousins, and we don't want ourselves to fall, but we don't want to see them fall either.
We do.
Ever since the inceptions of both of our countries, after the hubbub of the little bit of a civil war kind of thing going on there, we've come together and we've realized we're so close, we're so similar, we're tied at the hip, and there's a lot of evil out in the world, and we do a better chance standing together than we do apart.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go a little bit on my tinfoil hat while you're finding this video.
Go ahead.
That should China decide to do a big move, one of the easiest things that they could do to start attacking the United States is just to continue what they're doing with Canada, buying up real estate property, then start building a harder presence here in Canada, and that'll be one of their avenues to attack the United States. I don't want that. Yeah, and we do realize we're better off without England. Fuck a monarchy. Like, seriously? I really hope that Elizabeth does the right thing and dissolves it.
Yeah.
And not entirely and not abruptly, but, institutes a plan to slowly dissolve the monarchy and the monarchy's leeching onto the public coffers. Because you know what, guys? You have land, you have wealth. It's time for you to start standing on your own and not just being paid obscene amounts of money just because of your family lineage.
Is it the heated debate about balancing the budget, or is it the nobody believes you one?
Either or. The balancing the budget one was the one I was thinking of, but the one where he just dips into him from nobody believes you is also funny because just looking at the facts, just a cursory glance at the facts to what Trudeau says, it's hard to believe him because everything he says seems to be a contradiction of any and all facts that are presented.
Oh, you know what? We've done the nobody believes you one, so I'm gonna do the other one if we can get the ad to go away.
Yeah, because Trudeau is such a scumfuck globalist, it's disgusting. Sure, we can have a global society. We shouldn't kowtow to other countries who, like Saudi Arabia, please, come on.
Yeah.
They're going to teach us how to treat women?
Yeah.
You're fucking serious.
I know, right?
We gave
the
women the
rights
vote before
really?
America even did. that isn't to throw shade at America. I'm just saying, it's not like we haven't been on the ball with things like women's rights, minority rights, disability rights, all these things. And you have people in the UN from fucking Saudi Arabia, from fucking Iran, from fucking China telling us what's right. Please.
Yeah.
Once they can get on par with us in the United States and the UK, then maybe we can start talking about more global policy. Until then, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's
fuck the UN.
Fuck the UN, yeah.
They once served a purpose in post World War II global society. Now, not so much. Now they've just been corrupted like how many other institutions?
All right. Are we ready
All
to
right.
watch Monsieur Poiliev?
Punch myself in the face.
Here we go.
We no longer have dealings with the way our family fortune is managed. Good problem to have, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, because he's never had to balance a household budget, he thinks budgets balance themselves. He's not worried about costs because he makes others pay for his mistakes. The problem is that his never-ending deficits will sooner or later lead to higher taxes. Will he be honest with Canadians and tell them before the election how much taxes will go up and who will have to pay?
The Prime Minister.
We know the members obviously don't understand anything about transparency and accountability.
Oh, fuck off!
In a blind trust, so that I can work on the responsibilities as a leader and indeed as a prime minister with impartiality. But it's interesting that they won't ask that same question in English that was just asked in French about.
Oh, fuck you, Mr. fucking
single tax filing. I will always.
Trudeau always expounds more in French than he does in English. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
He always gives more detail in French
Yep. And
than
he wants
he
to
does
play
in English.
He wants to play identity politics, which
Yep.
fuck off.
And then he pulls this shit with the Conservatives.
Stand up to defend the interests of Quebecers and indeed all Canadians, but I was also stand up for what's good for Canadians and stand against pandering to the provinces.
Pandering to the provinces.
Wait, what? I missed that when I heard that's the first time. Pandering to the provinces?
Oh, he means, the people who actually do work for the people. Oh, God forbid the government should work for the people.
I love how the Conservatives can get him so pissed off that he slips up and reveals how he actually thinks. Like in this,
I hear a lot of Biden in him.
I do too.
Like you get Biden all riled up, and Trump or whoever get him all riled up, and then he'll flub. The CNN reporter who the other day who when he said, well, are you going to pack the courts? And he's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to answer that until after the election. It's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
These
Vote for me and find out.
Yeah. It's like, well, we up here, we kind of already voted that person in, and they're still giving us that load of bollocks.
Listen to them.
Oh, our fucking House of Commons is vicious.
They're just still going.
Yeah, they're trying to get order.
Blind trust. What the Prime Minister is asking of taxpayers is that they blindly trust him, that he can spend a great fortune, amass enormous debts, set on track permanent and growing deficits, and trust that no one will ever have to pay for it. Canadians do not have inherited family fortunes. They know that budgets don't balance themselves. Will he tell them the real cost that his taxes will impose on everyday Canadians after the election?
No, he will not.
Of course not, because that would be political suicide.
Speaker, the member opposite and the Conservative government under Mr. Harper kept giving tax breaks and benefits to the wealthiest Canadians in the hopes that
Hey,
would
Gasly.
lead to growth and opportunity for all Canadians. Well, it didn't. It failed miserably because under Stephen Harper, Canada had the worst growth record since the Great Depression.
You sure? Okay.
We made a different choice to lower taxes for the middle class, to invest in folks who needed our help with things like the Canada Child Benefit, the Guaranteed Income Supplement increase for seniors, the Canada Workers Benefit. These are the things that have made a difference.
Member for Carleton.
Well,
Why
isn't
is
it
he
funny
yelling?
to listen to a trust fund baby lecturing Canadians about being too rich? That's right. He says that people who take the bus are too rich and therefore should lose their transit tax credit. Soccer moms and hockey dads, Prime Minister says they're too rich, so he takes away their children's fitness tax credit. At the same time, he forces these same working class families to pay for his taxpayer-funded nannies.
Yep.
Will he put aside the hypocritical class warfare and tell us the true cost of his tax increases that he would bring in if he got reelected?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we see proof that the Conservatives simply don't understand that low-income families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay taxes.
What the fuck? I forgot about that. Benefit from taxes because they don't pay taxes or tax breaks. Oh, functional had to bow out. Hold on, let me go back and let him in. Did you hear that part? Low-income families don't benefit from tax breaks because low-income families don't pay taxes.
Yeah, no, I could hear it. For some reason, my microphone decided to cut out. I don't know. Yeah,
Reporter,
I mean,
don't the voters deserve to know? Biden, no, they don't deserve to know. Yeah.
oh, hey, a random Gasly appeared. Hey, Gasly.
Yes, a random Gasly did appear. Bold move, Justin, says Zachlon V. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see how it plays out, Cotton.
Oops. Oh, let's see here. Where do I go? Back over here. So yeah, this was... They don't pay taxes. Apparently.
Sure.
Move forward on investing directly in low and middle-income families with the Canada Child Benefit.
Middle-income families. That's all he cares about.
Lifted hundreds of thousands.
I asked the Honourable Opposition House Leader, and others, order. To come to order and not to be yelling when someone else has the floor.
Yeah, but he just said something so incredibly stupid that
It's
everyone...
kind of hard not to, yeah.
Like, you can hear them. They're like, Mr. Prime Minister, is that what you really
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, like, here, yeah, sure. If you are literally living below the poverty line, you're not going to pay income taxes. Let's just be straight with that. But if you are a low-income earner, but you are still, a full-time employee, you're paying income taxes. And not only that, but we're paying taxes on taxes. We're paying, here in Ontario, the harmonized sales tax. So we're paying sales taxes up the wazoo.
Yeah.
And there seems to be this narrative from these regressive liberals that if they lower that, we're going to do like that. That won't be enough to fund the healthcare system, and it won't be able to fund all these social safety. Well, you know what? That's not true. Businesses, a lot of these higher, more wealthy, affluent workers in Canada, they pay a lot of income tax.
They do.
And they don't see any very little, if any, return on their investment into Canada, into our political system, into our tax system.
It's true.
Like, sure, just to bring up an anecdote, my sister, very affluent, made very big success, her and her husband, they do very well. They pay an obscene amount of local taxes here in the city, municipal taxes.
Yeah.
Their roads are trash. They're
that's
crumbling,
ridiculous.
falling apart. And, you know, down the ways a bit, you know, 10 minutes away from her house is public housing. Brand new roads, brand new lawns that are constantly manicured by the public, by, you know, the city.
Yeah.
And she gets very upset about that. And I understand why. Why should her roads be completely trash? They drive nice cars. Sure. That's nobody's fault. That's actually a bonus on them because they've made it to the point where they can afford a few nicer things in the world.
Yeah.
Now, if you're living in government housing, you're not driving a nice car.
No.
I don't want to see anybody's car diminished or damaged by the roads, but for them to constantly every few years be getting new freshly paved roads for people who are on the public teat,
Not paying property tax.
not paying property tax, getting tons of handouts.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people need to be looked into. Like, why do you have a car? Is it necessary for you to get back on your feet? Sure. But if you're one of those people, you know, typically people who live in government housing like that, they've been on a wait list for many, many years.
Yeah.
Maybe they should sell off that asset so that they can, I don't know. It's a very touchy subject because you can't draw blanket statements and assumptions about people like that because there are differences. But it is frustrating to see that the people who are paying a lot more into the system aren't getting anything for their money.
Yeah.
Because again, when you have more money, you're spending more money in the community. You buy more, you spend more on not just luxury goods, but, you know, everyday goods, staples, food.
Yeah.
You don't get anything back for that.
Food is too expensive.
It's very expensive up here. And again, like we were saying earlier in the show, with the amount that we pay in corporate welfare, it's really ridiculous how much it's
Look at this impending crap. No fleeting flake. Significant snowfall coming soon.
Can we
I
trust
hate
this?
snow.
I love the snow. I hate the snow in the city. But when I was out living on the farm, I loved the winter. Because you didn't have to deal with the black stuff on the road, the slush, the sludge, the salt.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it can be especially frustrating when you've got two little ones at home and you have to brace them for the elements. You have to prepare them. It's doubling, tripling, quadrupling the amount of time you have to get them prepared to just go out the door.
Yep. Pinkalo says, I don't want to have to drive to Richmond Hill. I don't blame you.
It's right around the corner from me.
Let's see. Ready, your ice scraper, deep treaded tires, and your toque. Snow is coming to Edmonton. Ha ha!
Oh, Edmonton. Who cares?
Not just a flurry or fleeting flake, but proper snowfall. According to Environment Canada, the city will get its first snowfall of the season on Friday. Na 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 na. 2 to 4 centimeters is expected to fall. That is not a significant snowfall.
That's a little light powdering.
2 to 4 centimeters? That is a fleeting flake. Fuck off. Go away.
Fuck
I'm
you.
mad at
What was
you.
that, CBC? Yeah, fuck you, CBC, and your fucking... They've been such trash lately.
The evil snow with the whole half an inch of snow. It's going to be horrible.
And you're right, Costin. You know, a vehicle is necessary for a lot of people in rural areas. Again, with my anecdote, I'm specifically speaking about people who live in, you know, the biggest city in Canada, Toronto. We have the infrastructure. You don't need a car in most cases.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like that's nothing. A couple centimeters. Come on.
I was thinking
The
like
ground isn't even frozen at that point.
when I hear significant snowfall, I'm thinking like 10 to 15 centimeters.
Yeah,
Like
a foot, 2 feet.
Like, yeah. Fucking 2 to 4. Go away.
That's nothing.
Nobody
said, that's
cares
not
about
even-
oil Bertas.
I care. Because right now they're kind of, I mean, yeah, there has been a lot of overregulation and bullshit, but they've kind of been, they have the potential to bankroll all of Canada, and they kind of have been for a while, and it's not good.
Trudeau's in the middle
like
of
open
screwing
markets.
Alberta just like his daddy did.
Yep. And for the most part, you know, I liked Pierre. I don't, you know, like there was a lot of stuff to criticize. Overall, I kind of liked him. That's why at first glance it was like, okay, Justin, let's see what he's got. And then, you know, just cursory search of his qualifications before he got elected and everything. I'm just like, oh God, no. We can't elect this person. Oh God.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
He really is a complete vapid human being.
And you can hear that he doesn't even know what he's saying when he's saying it, because he's it's like, are you meditating?
Oh. Maybe he learned something when he went to India.
Perhaps. So we have
Justin.
one last story about COOF cases in Ontario.
Mm.
They're getting. I'm really worried that we might see some restrictions again.
Oh, it's already in the works.
Outside of the hotspots.
Yeah, it's already in the works. I read on the news today that Ford is kind of trying to commit political suicide by, again, overreacting to and wanting to do another lockdown. It's like, well, the last one didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't.
And in fact, these lockdowns are doing more harm than the COOF ever did.
They're doing more harm in more places.
Yep.
In more areas than the COOF did, and they're doing harm economically. They're doing harm to education. They're doing harm to mental health. They're doing harm to the family dynamic. It's bad.
Yep. Suicide rates have spiked, like a dramatic spike. Look at the CAMH statistics for new patients, walk-ins. I have friends who are counselors and psychologists at CAMH, and they are working overtime.
Yeah.
And in overdrive, and because they're just deep down like very good, selfless people, they do this out of the goodness of their heart, but they're burning at both ends just to try to save people. And it's not because of the COOF, it's because of the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And because of the constant overreaching response of the government.
Well, and like and the lockdown causes you, like, you love your family and everything, but when you're locked down, you take for granted the fact of, I just gotta step out for a few minutes and go walk around a store for a second. Or
and have some social interaction with people.
Yeah, having social
Real
interaction
people.
with people that aren't your family. Because, you love your family, but, like, you just, sometimes you want to talk to somebody different.
Mm-hmm. And we are a very social species, And we need that interaction, not only with our friends and family, but with new people. If you think of it as a series of webs, we're constantly growing the outside of those webs and meeting new people. And yeah, sure, if I talk to somebody at the corner store, I might not never see that person again, but I've had a conversation with somebody new, somebody different. And we really need those, because if we don't have those leads to massive depression.
Yeah.
It's part of the problem we have with our elderly in modern society. We stick them in homes, we stick them to the side, and we cause them to not have those human interactions. And we see that playing out on a massive scale with these COOF regulations. And
Suicide, alcoholism, and domestic violence have gone way up. So Dog. Yep.
Across the world. And that is scary, because those are one of the biggest downfalls of us as a species.
Yep.
Self-destructivism, alcoholism, abuse. Those are egregious, and we have to nip those in the bud.
Yeah.
We can take precautions without closing everything down. It's as simple as the hygiene campaigns that came out at first were great, because you know what? How many times has anybody who lives in a bigger city gotten onto a bus or been in a public space like a mall and walked by people with really bad BO?
Oh, yeah.
Or really bad, you can tell that they have really bad hygiene, and maybe they just weren't educated. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just don't know these things. Maybe they had, not such a great upbringing. Maybe they came from a different country where we didn't have all these campaigns to teach kids at a young age.
Or running water,
and just teach them the basics of hygiene. And that is one of the biggest, easiest ways to nip, take a bite out of the spread of these types of things. Like, I've always been the type of person, I come home from grocery shopping or even going to the store, even getting the mail, I wash my hands.
Yep.
I eat, I use the computer, do something, I wash my hands. I'm fastidious when it comes to that. I'm not OCD, but when we live in a global society like this, you have to be a little bit more precautious, because look, in the last 2 decades, we've had 11 serious viruses from SARS to COVID come out of the same region of Southeast China.
And those swine flus, those bird flus.
Yeah, 11 of these serious viruses. How many can we name? We've already named like 4 or 5. I couldn't tell you what the other half dozen are, because they're not covered in the news. And to our credit, our being the Western world, we kind of prevented them from spreading. They weren't as egregious in their spread as COVID is. COVID is son of a bitch as far as transmission goes. It's crazy.
But it's weird how it doesn't act as virulently as like the flu does. It's a strange virus.
It really is.
So this says Ontario reports 721 new COVID-19 cases, mainly in Toronto, Peel, and York. Because, yay. So this says Ontario reported 721 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, with the majority of them in Toronto, Peel, and York regions. Health Minister Christine Elliott said today's new cases include 270 in Toronto, 170 in Peel, and 79 in York region.
Now, in a city of very close to 3 million people, is 270 a big number?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think all things considered, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because what we have learned about the virus since the inception of the pandemic is that that's not so bad. If it's as highly transmissible as we've learned, 270 in a city of 3 million, not that bad.
Yeah.
And of course, Peel and York region are more suburban areas. those numbers actually seem a little bit out of proportion if you think about it, because they don't have populations of even 1 million.
No.
I think Peel region is 700,000, or maybe that was York region,
But still, I think for 700,000, if it's Peel region that's 700,000, 170 is still
it's low. Yeah,
small.
yeah. I'm just saying in scale towards, compare it to Toronto.
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like there's a few more cases in those regions than there is in the city. But a lot of people also forget. People in Peel, York, Markham, Scarborough,
Commute.
they all commute to the downtown core.
Yep. They all commute. Meanwhile, Ontario's network of community, commercial, and hospital labs just processed just 32,200 tests on Tuesday. Notably fewer than the number of tests completed daily as the tests worked to clear a backlog that peaked at around 92,000.
Mm-hmm.
The testing backlog currently sits at 26,558.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And like Pincalo just said, yeah, he's talking about the backlog. You got to think a lot of these new cases are already a month old.
Yeah. They've
So these are
already
old
had
tests.
COVID, and if they even had symptoms.
And
Passed it on.
right now, I can go over to the hospital. I can get a test.
Yeah.
I can get a test done. So I'm wondering where these supposed backlogs are going to, because it seems like it's more remote areas who have to send away to hospitals. And we're outsourcing a lot of our tests to specifically Florida, but the United States.
Boston is roughly the same size as the GTA, and they have 750 cases in the last day. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are they doing in Boston?
Well, they're a more concentrated city, right? Like the GTA, we're a lot more spread out, right?
That's true.
They're a lot more built up, like a lot of American cities. So that can cause a little bit more of a breeding ground. But again, if you think about it, 750, that's still not bad, because of these numbers, like 750, you might have a mortality rate of 0.2%.
Yeah.
Might. I'm being generous there. Even that is, it's terrible, but think about it. We lose people every day from all sorts of reasons. Something new comes along, you can't just freak out that people are, if it was Spanish flu numbers, people were dying in the streets, dropping terribly ill left and right.
Little children.
Sure. Children, yeah. Like people with very new immune systems. Sure, let's consider that. But that's not what we're facing.
No.
We're facing a new strain of flu, basically. And we'll
pretty
do our best
weak.
to nip it in the bud, but you know what? Not so bad.
No.
Especially with the numbers that they were projecting. Hundreds or tens of millions dead in North America.
Yeah.
And we have, 300,000 between the two countries?
Something like that.
Not that bad.
I think we have 9,000 deaths in Canada.
Is it only 9,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
just over
250,000 in
210
the States or something like that.
260,000. Yeah, okay. So, again, grand scheme of things, it's not so bad.
No.
It sucks to have loss of life for something that, is new.
Yeah.
But we don't treat the flu, car accidents, like all these other types of extraneous things the same way we do as this. It's really weird, and it really makes people put on that tinfoil hat and go, there's something more to this.
Yeah.
People in government all across the aisle are diving on this and sinking their teeth in and trying to get those reins of power fastened to them.
Yep.
And I don't like it.
Says the number of daily tests completed also falls far short of the province's goal of processing 50,000 tests per day by mid-October.
Sorry, Pincalo said something. Seems like it. I know you can get the tests. We haven't gotten the results yet. It's been almost 3 weeks. It might be, and I'm going to level with you. It might be my connections, but I got my results in 4 days.
Yeah.
But again, I have friends and family who are doctors, so
that
I
could
can
help.
poke them and be like, "Hey, do you think you can?"
Yeah. Boston alone has 10K deaths. Holy is that what you're saying? 10K about Duck Dog?
Now, I wonder too, Duck Dog, is that more of a local thing? Is that just bad policy of the municipal leaders that has caused it to be higher than the average for a city of its size? Like, it probably is. I don't know. I haven't researched much about Boston. Obviously, people talk a lot about New York, Chicago, other places that have been, spoken a lot about in the media. And the states is huge. It's hard to keep tabs on every city.
Yeah. So it says, according to a news release or issued on October 2nd, Ontario said it was taking longer-term action to increase its testing facilities so people could get results faster. Haven't seen that yet. The province also set a goal of processing 68,000 tests by mid-November.
That's pathetic. That number, 68,000? That's
Yeah.
all we can handle.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
It is.
We have some of the best hospitals in the world
Yeah, we do.
in Toronto.
We do.
And some of the leading research hospitals as well. Princess Margaret, they do fantastic cancer research. Sick kids do fantastic research.
Chio.
And this is the amount. That's all that we can process.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's crazy.
I want to point the finger, but I'm not too well versed on the behind the scenes. But I know that a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've been outsourcing more and more of our healthcare system. You remember the Life Labs scandal?
Yep.
Like, how can we trust these people when they can't keep us safe? They can't keep our data safe. Can't keep can't process more than 68,000 tests. Are you kidding me?
Oh, here's a doctor saying that the cases seem to be plateauing. Somehow.
Oh, okay, Duck Dog. That makes sense then.
Let's see. Is this going to play or is it going to give me
The good
an
thing
ad?
is that,
Oh, there we go.
as compared to what the modern was looking at, I was
I
estimating
know,
that we
Dr.
would be heading up
Williams.
by now up to 12 to 1,500 cases. We didn't see that yet. And that's reassuring. We had 809 cases on Saturday, 649 on Sunday, 807 on Monday, and then today we're reporting 746 new cases. So again, looks like we're plateauing around that low 700s, some blips up and down. That may be encouraging. Still early to see that. Are we in fact plateauing and leveling the curve with people adhering to measures and seeking to follow safe distancing, masking, hand hygiene, staying home if you're ill, and getting tested when you need and have signs or symptoms. So
that's...
They're finally admitting.
I like that doctor is being honest enough to say, look, this just follow common sense.
Yeah.
Health precautions.
Yeah. It's not fear mongering.
Yeah.
And he's just being straight. And you know what? That was the whole narrative at the beginning. Let's flatten the curve so that we don't have people dying because they can't get seen by a doctor.
Yeah. Exactly.
We managed to do that. Like I just said, there were tens of millions of projected deaths, and now we have, 250,000 overall, like over North America. That's good.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things, that's good. We flatten the curve. Let's get back to business as normal. Keep up with the information and education campaigns. Make sure people are sticking to doing their part. And then let's let it play out. I know that might sound a little callous because maybe, God forbid that things do get a little bit blown out of control at a point. I don't see that happening. God forbid that something like that should happen. But you know what? At the cost of our liberties,
Yeah.
as somebody who's high risk for a respiratory disease like this, I say let's go.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Hey, it's survival of the fittest, right?
Right. I mean, I don't want to see people dying. Nobody
No.
wants to see that. But we can't have people dying from our own poor choices over deaths from a disease or something like that, you know?
Diseases are going to get us anyway.
Yep.
What we need to do is be common sense, be logical, be calm, and if something bad happens, well then you deal with the bad and you can continue on.
Right. And we should be learning from our mistakes. And
Yep.
one of the mistakes was we reacted a little bit too much. So let's learn from that mistake and not overreact going forward.
Agreed. And on that note, my friends, we've reached the end of the coffee stream.
Yay!
I want to thank Functional for joining me. I hope he enjoyed himself. And
Maybe a little too much. No, dude. Honestly, it's been awesome to come on and talk to you in real time about some of these things because, as you know, I like to stay abreast of Canadian politics and what the goings on in Canada, not just in the political hotspots of where we live, but across the nation. Because
exactly,
we are a first world nation, and we sometimes get overlooked for not only American politics, but things like, British politics, global politics,
exactly.
even those dirty Australian politics. No, I love my Aussie friends. And, it's good to talk about it with somebody who is also likes to keep up on the ball about things.
Yeah.
Plus, we always have a good time on Minions. So
we do. So you'll be joining me not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday following.
Every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday for Wednesdays in Canada. And tomorrow, I am doing kind of a special, belated 2-year anniversary coffee stream, where I will be willing to answer any questions you have for me, guys. Not just about my blindness, but just like about blind press in general.
That should be awesome.
So come
congratulations. I never said this, but 2 years, man. That's a feat. That's a milestone.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't make it 6 months. A lot, like the majority of channels do not make it 6 months. So for somebody who does this all on her own to make it 2 years, fuck, dude, that is impressive as fuck.
Well, I've got an awesome pink Kahlo to help me. So,
yeah, he's great.
And
I know I give him shit in chat on shows a lot of the time, on Lords of the Day, whatever. But it's all in good fun, and you guys are just such a cute couple too. Blind in the Special Sundays, people. If you're missing that, oh my god, these goofballs, they will take you to town.
And of course, don't forget on Friday guest day, I have Scribbles.
Yeah!
So be sure to tune in for that. So and remember, guys, blindpress.net. Please consider going and purchasing some Blind Press merchandise. It would greatly help support the channel and help us on our way to that actual functioning computer and a better camera. So
nice.
Help us out with that, guys. And
help yourself out too with getting a nice shirt or mug or something.
Yeah,
because that seems to me. Sorry to sort of interject,
don't worry.
But like when content creators actually start producing merch, it's really good because you're getting a lot for your value. Not only are you helping the content, but you're getting a little something to sort of represent. Yeah, and you're also helping spread the word.
Yeah, you actually have something for your money.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly.
In fact.
So guys, have an amazing rest of your Wednesday. Thank you again to Functional. And I will see everybody back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.